do you know what was inside the Ark of the Covenant, below that which represented the throne of God? Do you know what was the foundation of God's government? The foundation of any government is its laws. I want you to notice that after that ark had been made, God instructed Moses to take the 10 Commandments and place them inside the ark. This is the earthly sanctuary, but the earthly is a shadow of the heavenly. Notice Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 4, and we'll also read verse 5. Deuteronomy 10 verses 4 and 5. Speaking about God, it says, and he wrote, that is God wrote, on the tablets, according to the first writing, the 10 Commandments, which the Lord had spoken to you in the mountain from the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And the Lord gave them to me, says Moses. Then I turned and came down from the mountain and put the tablets in the ark, which I made. And there they are, just as the Lord commanded me. So where was this majestic being, Lucifer? He was in the very presence of God. He was next to the Ark of the Covenant. His wings covered the mercy seat, and below the mercy seat was the holy law of God, just like in the earthly sanctuary. The Bible tells us that at some point, this majestic being chose that he would rebel against the law of God. Notice Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 16, and this verse you will find here on your list, Ezekiel 28 and verse 16. We're told there, speaking about Lucifer, by the abundance of your trading, we'll talk about that in a few moments, you became filled with violence within. And you what? That's important. And you sinned. Therefore I cast you as a profane thing out of the mountain of God, and I destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the fiery stones. So we find here, according to this passage, that this majestic being sinned. Now the question is, what is sin? Well, before we answer that question, let's emphasize with another verse this same point that the devil sinned at the very beginning. Notice 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8. Explicitly, the Bible tells us that the devil sinned not from Mount Sinai on, because some people think that the law started at Mount Sinai with Moses. No, sin originated in heaven before this world was even created. And so it says in 1 John 3 verse 8, he who sins is of the devil, for the devil has sinned from Mount Sinai. That's not what it says, right? The devil has sinned from when? From the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. But you say, Pastor Bor, what is sin? You say, okay, it says in Ezekiel and it says in 1 John that the devil sinned in heaven, Lucifer sinned and he became the devil. What is sin? Notice 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. 1 John 3 and verse 4. It says, whoever commits sin also commits lawlessness. And sin is lawlessness. I like the way the King James expresses it. Sin is the transgression of the law. In other words, sin is breaking God's holy law. So let me ask you something. Did the law have to exist in heaven in order for Lucifer to sin? I mean, all you have to do is add 2 plus 2 equals 4. I mean, if he sinned, there must have been a law, because sin is transgression of the law. But you know, he didn't sin by himself. In fact, the Bible says that he started bad-mouthing God. He started talking to the angels and saying, you know, God's laws are unjust.